Welcome, and it's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, flavoring Fridays here on a Football Friday. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Brack. This show brought to you by our friends at OG's, the official sponsor of Flavoring Fridays. Not just your average cannabis-infused gummy. They absolutely, positively knock it out of the park. Check them out, ogbrands.com. Check us out here, your definitive Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star. Our last Football Friday of the year as the Arizona Cardinals host the Seattle Seahawks at State Farm Stadium this Sunday. How are we feeling?
It's bittersweet, isn't it? Right? I mean, we're not going to be – today was the last practice. I'm not going to go out there and be able to record videos for these great people out there and post them on our Twitter account until training camp. Maybe some mini camps, some OTAs mixed in between there. And, of course, we're going to have a great draft coverage. But – bit bittersweet. I mean, this is a team that's not playing for much, and we're excited about the future of this organization, but it's always tough to say goodbye to football Sundays for the team that you root for. So it is absolutely every sense of the word bittersweet. Z Professor, happy birthday, my guy.
Happy birthday, Z Professor.
We're excited you're going out to Gila River Wild Horse Pass for the weekend, but fortunately you're not going to be able to join us. That is unfortunate, but we appreciate you. Happy B-Day. What's up, Emily? What's up, Ken? Rise up, Dee Dee. Everybody, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody. Good vibes, immaculate vibes to everybody. Great vibes here on the last Football Friday of the year, at least for our Arizona Cardinals. We're going to have a banner offseason. This show's going nowhere, and I would imagine we're going to have a few more than just 4 to 5 victories in this offseason. Plenty of time to talk about that. What I want to talk about right now, the state of the Arizona Cardinals ahead of Sunday's matchup. You reported earlier today, Brack, Cardinals are going to be without Garrett Williams. They're going to be without Dante Stills. And then they kind of out of nowhere cut defensive lineman Kevin Strong. I mean, are we emptying the pantry here? Is it spring cleaning already for the Cardinals ahead of Seattle?
Yeah, the Strong thing, and I haven't done too much research as far as what the Twitter streets are saying and maybe what was behind it. To me, it was surprising, right? Kevin Strong has been one of the mainstays as far as this defensive line, an unknown group of players for the most part all season long. Signed, kind of followed Monty Ossenfort from Tennessee, also had ties to assistant GM. Was it Dave? Why can't I think of his name? Your boy, Dave Sears from Detroit. Kevin Strong has been a guy that's been part of that rotation all season long. So to see him kind of be sent the door just 48 hours before the Cardinals regular season finale, strange move. I don't know, what went behind it, but you're already down. You've got Dante Stills going on IR before his final game of his rookie season, so he's out. And then, we'll see if they activate. Maybe it's making room for Lecky Fotu to be activated tomorrow and play potentially his last game as an Arizona Cardinal before he's free agency as his rookie contract comes to an end. Maybe that's it. But a head scratcher, no doubt about it.
It's weird. It feels like this is like limbo gray area time. And while there are people that are part of this franchise, they're technically members of the Arizona Cardinals. Like, is this their final game? Like, we could do a whole show on, is this the final game for Rondale Moore? Is this the final game, even though he's not playing for Hollywood Brown, right? What's going on with some of these, older veterans defensively? What is Cameron Thomas going to be inactive again? DJ Humphries out last weekend. It really feels like, and the season's not over yet, it's the complete changing of the guard. And it started last offseason. It's carried onward through this regular season. They are about 72 hours away from, okay, we're on to 2024. We're on to shaping this roster and allowing us to kind of go gangbusters like they've always wanted to. We've touched on that numerous times. And while Bo and I disagree about the term and the meaning of the word rebuild, it does feel like
I'll fight you.
2023 times were tough, right? But I
Yeah.
will say this. If Kyler Murray can somehow win this game, I know a lot of Cardinal fans, I see it on Twitter, they want the loss, they want the 3rd overall pick. I can understand that. You have every right to feel that way. I want the pick as well. If Kyler Murray goes 4-4 with this roster, I think it's one of the, and people scoff at this, best achievements by a Cardinal in the last half decade. To be able to come into this circumstance, torn ACL, new system, so hardest strength of schedule in the league, and go 500 with this team without Hollywood Brown, it is damn impressive. It's commendable, and I will stand up and applaud him if this happens on Sunday.
Absolutely. It's about putting things in perspective, and it was interesting. Obviously we heard from Kyler this week. We've heard from Jonathan Gannon a couple times, and I think that they've been pretty transparent as far as, the challenges that they faced this season and where they are and where they're going, which is great. And that's in lockstep together. And that, Jonathan Gannon maintained and even told Kyler Murray from the jump that he's his franchise quarterback. But then to also have the ability to kind of, as we're 5 days post New Year, but you're putting the finishing touches on the final touches of this season for the Cardinals. And you talk to Israel Wolfork, the quarterback coach for the Cardinals today, and all I could do is laugh, is thinking back about this quarterback room and the challenges that it faced. Like, here we were talking about Colt McCoy potentially being the starting quarterback of this team, wasn't even throwing consistently every day at practice, infamously pointing at receivers that he would throw to if he was allowed to throw because of the arm maintenance that he was going through, and then the arm never came through. And the Arizona Cardinals knew in the joint practices against the Vikings in Minneapolis that they had to figure out a different solution at quarterback. And what do? They bring in Joshua Dobbs, and they're tasked with getting Joshua Dobbs up to speed. And then Joshua Dobbs, his expiration date hits after 8 games, and he's sent packing right after he was benched. And then you start Clayton Tune for a game, and then all the while you're getting Kyler Murray up to speed, rehabbing, and ready to start a new system under Drew Petzing. And he gets in there. And the Arizona Cardinals have gotten 4 different quarterbacks ready to start games this season. Now, that would be miraculous, but now you see former Cardinals quarterback Jeff Driscoll, practice squad guy. He's going to he's going to be the 5th different starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. It's just wild times at the quarterback position this year, and the Arizona Cardinals have had one of the craziest seasons when it comes to that position. But now you get at least the comfort of knowing going forward, you got a guy. You got Kyler Murray, and I think that you have to be pretty excited. I guess your expectations might be tempered, but keep in mind Drew Petzing was trying to make chicken salad and chicken shit all season long. With the position and with the players that were making plays out there.
Alex, $4.99 super chat. If this game gets out of hand for whatever reason, do you see JG pulling Kyler? I mean, it would have to be really lopsided. And I mean, let's be honest. The Seahawks defense has been bad lately. And I think the Cardinals have severe limitations defensively, but the Cardinals have been moving the ball well for about the past 4 to 6 weeks. Like they are top 10 in yards per game since Kyler Murray came back. Think about that for a second. Like, they're a top 10 offense in terms of yards. Now, they need to do better in the red zone. They were bad up until last week, but they're moving the ball. They should move the ball at will against the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. Now, can they stop Kenneth Walker and company? Can they stop, of course, the vaunted passing attack, Geno Smith notwithstanding, of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? I think that's really where this game is going to be won or lost. But I think Kyler Murray is going to have another big statistical day. I really do. Deuce, another $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Drew pulled a VJ on T15 by playing Dobbs instead. I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
Probably playing like a veteran over a rookie, I think. Potentially
had no business starting this season. I was on the record. I wanted him just because Colt McCoy literally couldn't throw the football. And when you watched in training camp, I don't know how we got off on this, Clayton Tune versus Colt McCoy, it was embarrassing. And listen, and that's like the perfect segue. Colt McCoy, who is a tremendous ambassador for the game of football, just because he couldn't play this year and he didn't sign with anybody, doesn't mean that we don't appreciate what Colt McCoy did, but they needed to go get Joshua Dobbs. That had to happen.
Right. Well, yeah. And we don't have time to get to it today because it's full game preview, and I think we should bring this back next week. But Colt McCoy was on Pat McAfee today, and he had nothing but nice things to say about this organization. Still believes in Jonathan Gannon and Monty Osfort in the direction of this franchise, even though they said, "Hey, Colt, you can't play here any longer. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here." And that's a true sign of how classy Colt McCoy is. But also a true testament to the direction of this organization that it's undeniable. Look, I think Clayton Tune was given every opportunity to really hold on to the backup spot, and that's what they wanted. They wanted him to be on the active roster and prepare like a quarterback, an NFL quarterback each and every week. And that started from the moment he was drafted out of Houston to rookie mini camp to OTAs to training camp to the preseason to when the regular season began. He's held that, backup quarterback spot for the most part. But, I still think he has a long way to go. And we've talked about this before. Like, I think that the Cardinals might be in play for a veteran backup quarterback this offseason. Like, I don't think Clayton Tune showed you as much as you need to see to be comfortable with him moving forward.
Yeah, it's going to be a decision this offseason that they're going to have to tackle. As far as this Sunday, Bo Brock, I think the headline is, can Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon get their first NFC West win of the season? But the sub-bullet is going to be, where are the Cardinals going to be drafting in the 2024 NFL draft? We have been talking draft on this program longer than we ever have before. Upwards of 8 months since the last draft, based on where the Cardinals were predicted. If the Cardinals win this weekend, they eclipse their Vegas over-under. I looked back. Most profitable or legitimate gambling sites had them at 4.5. Some had them at 3.5. USA Today had them at 3 wins. The Cardinals right now sit at 4 wins of the season. According to ESPN Analytics, Kyle Odegaard put this on his Twitter today. Good post by him. Cardinals have a mere 5% to get the number 2 pick in the draft. They have 33% to get pick number 3. They have a 26% to get pick number 4. But if they go number 5 or below, they have a 36%. So ESPN Analytics think the Cardinals are going to win this game. And then their fate is going to be left up by the other teams. And, I'm going back and forth with my game prediction, what's going to happen. Cardinals are playing with house money right now. There's no doubt about it. Let's check out, Bo, what we talked about yesterday. Bears repeating, sizing up the schedules, what needs to happen for this team. Commanders, Cowboys, Patriots, Jets, Giants, Eagles, Chargers, Chiefs, Titans, Jags. Every team on the left that the Cardinals could need a dub from potentially, well, they all play at home. I mean, you're looking at this right now. Do you want to go on the record? Where do you think the Cardinals potentially could be picking come Sunday evening?
I don't want to give too much as far as my prediction, but
that's true.
The Arizona Cardinals, I think, probably stay at 4 wins, and the Patriots haven't lost to the Jets in the last 15 games against them. And you think that Bill Belichick, if he's on his way out, he's going to gift the franchise a high draft pick, a nice little pick, and I just don't think that he's going to do that. If he can bust their ass by winning a football game, he's certainly going to do it. And he's not going to lose or lay down to a Jets organization. Didn't he take their coaching position at one point for like a day and then retreat back to the Patriots? Like he has every incentive to win this football game. It's an atrocious matchup of offensive football, but I think the Pats, just based on history, they should have the edge in this game. So I like the Cardinals to potentially, I mean, they got an opportunity to jump up the draft board here, but they have to lose the football game, which is crazy. Like, just their win against Philadelphia last week has changed the tune of so many of the Cardinals detractors out there, including the biggest clown of them all, Johnny. We didn't even talk about this yesterday. Yeah. Mike Florio, somebody pointed this out to us on social media. What is it, Jariah? He DM'd us this little snippet from PFT.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are laying a foundation for an interesting 2024. That's via Mike Florio. He's picking the Cardinals to win 27-24. And the group think over there, Pro Football Talk, Chris Sims is like, yeah, they're going to win 27-24. They have the exact same score prediction. And Florio is saying the foundation there, it makes for an interesting 2024. No shit, Mike. What do you think they've been
The
doing?
Cardinals are cheaters. There it is. The Cardinals are cheaters. Gannon was a cheater. Austin Ford was a cheater in the offseason.
It's an egregious tank job.
Gannon's going to be fired after 1 year. They're not going to play Kyler Murray. Literally everything that Florio predicted, the opposite happened.
Wrong.
Florio, frenemy of the program. He came on during the offseason, and Bo and him got into
Florio.
it. I mean, I think if you're into this kind of thing, Cardinals winning on Sunday would prove and continue to prove a lot of people wrong. This has been the biggest week for the Cardinal naysayers to kind of go into the shadows a little bit, and for people to come out and say, like, number one, this team's well coached. Number two, this team has their franchise quarterback. And at the end of the day, roster be damn, like, that's what you want. You want to be thought of as a team on the up and up, that you have your QB and your head coach. I think the Cardinals have both of those. I'm going to tell you right now, there is a bet that I shared with Bo Brack before the show that I think is not coincidentally the bet of the year. It is the bet of the year because it's the last regular season game. It's a Cardinal bet. I'm going to tell you what it is right now with the BetMGM $1,500 first bet offer. Okay. It's unequivocally. I didn't put it on Twitter because I wanted our viewers to have it first. James Conner, and Tyler Drake pointed this out, and I thought he had one. James Conner's never rushed for 1,000 yards. He has a chance if he gets 110 plus yards on Sunday, will have 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. And he'll have done it in a 14-game season. Like, he missed 4 games. The guys who used to rush for 1,000 yards in 14 games, they used to really mean something. Unequivocally. I mean, you talked to Jonathan Gannon about James Conner today. You almost got emotional talking about it.
He did. I thought he was going to get emotional. I thought, what's going on here? Is he choked up? But he basically was asked about what James Conner brings to this organization. Sorry to make a pause there, but I mean, he did this. I mean, if you're watching, he puts his arms like as wide as they can go. He meant this much. And he said that's the blueprint of basically how to be a pro in this league. It's James Conner. So anybody thinking that James Conner is going anywhere, despite having a, relatively to his position, large cap hit next season, which is around 8.5, I think that conversation's over.
If you don't think the Arizona Cardinals and Jonathan Gannon are going to try like hell to get James Conner 110 yards, Najee Harris 27 for 122, 4.5 yards per pop last week against Seattle. Seattle's given up almost 6 yards per play. Their run defense has been minimal. I don't know if the Cardinals are going to win this game. Plus 370 right now for James Conner to go 110 or over with our friends at BetMGM. Do it now. $30 pays out over 140. That is the pick of the year. Listen, if you can't root for that, what can you root for? It's not a parlay. You don't need 8 other things to happen. I don't know. And you don't even have to root for the Cardinals to win in this scenario. They're going to give James Conner the ball 50 times in this game. They are going his first 1,000-yard season, maybe his best chance ever. James Conner is getting over 1,000, and I'm going to help you win your bet, whether it's $10 or $1,500. The first bet offer with our friends at BetMGM. Use the bonus code PHNX. Sign up now. You will not be sorry that you did. Again, at least $10. If your bet loses, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wage has been settled. Check out the show notes for full details. Now listen to my guy Shane Diefenbach talk about it in the disclaimer.
Problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
My beautiful wife is somewhat of a Mexican cuisine connoisseur. She comes from Yuma. They don't have around in that part of the state as far as Mexican food goes. I mean, Arizona is just, they've got some of the best Mexican cuisine in the world, right? And so we're always looking for good places to go. But when we moved back to the state a couple of years ago, we stumbled upon Some Burros, and it's been a weekly stop for the Brack family. We love Some Burros. My wife's order is the number 9. It's the 2 folded tacos with shredded beef, beans and rice. My son, he's getting the quesadilla with the beans and rice. And then I'm all over the place. I'm getting the taco. I'm getting the tostada. I am, just the variety is what flavors my life over at Some Burrows. We love Some Burrows. You need to find out for yourself about this unbelievable spot, and you've got one probably close to where you live here in the Valley of the Sun. Try their Fiesta platters. Try their locations in the Valley, Flagstaff. You're never far from delicious, time-tested Sonoran-style recipes, lovingly prepared since 1986. Come check out their newest location in Goodyear, Peoria on the west side, I-17 in Jomax, and visit Some Burrows, that's some, SOMEBURROS.com to find one near you. Go enjoy one of those margaritas, enjoy some of that delicious food, and thank us later.
I wonder if anybody's ever said, I need some Burrows. Probably never. That's probably never happened.
That's good.
I'll tell you what is going to happen this weekend. The Arizona Cardinals are going to play their finale. We're going to get it to our predictions here in just a little bit, but I do want to discuss with you, Bo Brack. You think about the way this draft situation, this draft kind of fallout of this weekend is shaping up. And, you've got the Chicago Bears, which is on everybody's mind. What are they going to do? Their position is cemented. But like these other franchises, Commanders, Giants, Patriots, Titans, these teams that very much could use a quarterback, are their front offices going to interfere? Are the coaching staffs going to be put on alert? Because the Cardinals are the only team. Let's look at the draft order, if we could, Damon Dog, for week 17. Cardinals are the only team right here, number one, that they may or may not have a regime change, and then certainly don't need a quarterback. Commanders, gut job. Patriots, gut job. Giants could very well go quarterback early and often. Chargers, gut job minus Herbert. Titans, potentially losing Vrabel. Talking about mutually parting ways. I mean, like, the Cardinals are going to either pick second or they're all the way down to seventh. Right now, it feels like the Cardinals are one of these teams where it's like, we know the Cardinals are going to try to win. I don't know if the same can be said for the rest of these teams.
Yeah, the Cardinals are kind of like the Broncos were last year, right? We kind of talked about that day that we loved because we were covering this Cardinals team that was just a rudderless ship. It was a sinking ship, right? It was inevitable. He was going to be shown the door. Keim, we knew it's in some way he was not going to be tied to the organization, and their roster was completely depleted. Kyler was out. You had the Magic Man, David Blau. He was the one. He was the quarterback at that time. Like, they weren't winning a football game.
Yeah.
But the Broncos, like, they didn't own their top pick, right? And they were just trying to get right and kind of build some sort of momentum going into the offseason, and they wanted just decent performances, and they beat a Chargers team in the finale last year to drop them in the draft rankings. And we celebrated, and the Broncos, I don't know what they did. Did they celebrate over at DNVR? But, I guess you could find some sort of moral victory there. But, yeah, it's really interesting to kind of see, like, who is going to play to win. Now, Mike Vrabel, as long as he's the head coach, and I love what he said in the press conference, like when he was asked about losing, and he was just like, it fucking sucks. Just point blank. It's terrible. You can't sleep. Like, he doesn't play any game to lose. And, Britton Golden shared that. Like, the players in that locker room, the coaching staff, like, it weighs too heavy on them to play to lose. They just don't do it. They don't have it. Like, most of them, they don't have it, aren't cut from that fabric. So, I mean, I know it's a very real thing, but, I think that there's going to be guys out there trying to put up good tape, and the results of that could be positive plays for a team that has no reason to have positive plays. So, I mean, looking at the schedule and looking at all these teams, like the Arizona Cardinals, it would be a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but at the same time, like, what's been put in place, you don't want to stop it just because of a draft pick, right? You don't want to just tell these guys who have their foot on the gas pedal all the way down to the floor and saying, give us everything you got. And then right before the finish line of the season, say, pull up, take a fall for the betterment of our draft pick each and every round. I just don't think that that's possible at this point. You just can't pull the emergency brake any longer.
No, I agree. And I thought, had they lost to Philadelphia, and like this week, it would have been the difference between like pick 2 and pick 3 or whatever. Yeah, I was very much of the mindset, like, you know what, if it still looks pretty ugly, but they're committed to K1, like, rest some people this week, play Clayton Tune. But the minute the Cardinals won that game last week, it's just like, no, they're going to keep riding this out for better or worse. I think it's prediction time. We're going to do a mock draft here in a second, and we're going to do a mock draft based on our predictions here. I am happy to go first. This is our last prediction of the year.
Is this a bit?
No, it's not a bit.
No, I mean, it's because I feel like anytime we do like a list or stuff that I make and then you make, like I'm going to go first. You go first all the time.
Well, you just got done talking, so giving you a break. That's called being a cordial host. All right, smart ass, go first. There's no bit here. I'm as cut and dry. I'm a straight shooter.
I just couldn't tell if it was a bit or not. Like, I didn't know if I was out on the joke. It's like, man, I bet he's gonna say he's gonna go first because he always goes first. But go ahead.
The best bit of all time was when I got that guy that told me you didn't pay your fantasy football dues, and we shared the DM on screen. That's the best bit in the history of the show. Yeah, I'm predicting right now. It's prediction time with Johnny and friends. That's what we're gonna call it. Cardinals are gonna narrowly lose this game. I genuinely believe this is gonna happen. It's not like I'm not rooting for this. I would love to see Kyler Murray go 500. Pete Carroll is a much, much, much better coach than Nick Sirianni. And regardless of what happened, Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers, the Seahawks are going to play to win this game regardless if they get to the postseason. Like, Geno Smith needs a good finale for them not to draft a quarterback, for them not to maybe look elsewhere. He's had a pretty mid-season. I think the Cardinals are going to put points up. The Cardinals are going to struggle to stop the run. Kenneth Walker looks fantastic. Michael Wilson looked good last week. I think this is the continuation of Michael Wilson saying, F the haters. They had the Instagram live in the locker room last week, and Michael Wilson was saying something about, like, people doubted me. I'm back. Like, I agree with that. I think Michael Wilson has a big game. I think he's the offensive player of the game. I didn't want to go chalk and go James Conner or Kyler Murray. I'm saying right now, Michael Wilson's going to put an imprint. Like, I know we need receiver help. I am here. I've arrived. Budda Baker, Pro Bowler. Let's see you take the ball away this week. I'm challenging Budda Baker. He's made a 6th Pro Bowl this year. Well deserved. A little bit of an award for his career. Let's have an INT. Let's have a sack. Let's do some negative plays this week, Budda. I'm challenging you this week. Geno Smith, they're going to be available. And speaking of available, Paris Johnson Jr. is now your most established tackle on the roster. With respect to Kelvin Beachum, who's played for about half a minute this year, Paris Johnson Jr. is going to be tasked to carry the weight at tackle this week. I am predicting there be a drop-off, obviously, from DJ Humphries to Kelvin Beachum. Humphries, of course, went on IR with an ACL. This is Paris Johnson Jr., like Michael Wilson, but especially Paris, to put a bow on a very strong rookie year. I am going with the youth of this team to ball out in the last division game of the year. I am not rooting for them to lose again, but I've seen this too many times. Seattle, very, very well coached, strong running game. They've got the pass rush. They've got the cornerback in Devin Witherspoon. So it's going to be a dogfight. I think this is absolutely going to go back and forth, and Seattle's going to win it with a last-second field goal. They're going to have the ball to win it, whereas Philadelphia, needed a touchdown with about 20 seconds. Seattle is not going to dick around. They're going to run the football about 65% of the time this game, because that's how you beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think it's some fantastic points. I like the Paris Johnson Jr. thing. We do have a video, too, I want to share with everybody as far as the offensive line that we'll get into. It's great. You can see the camaraderie that these guys love playing with each other. But I agree. Like, I think that the edge as far as coaching, the difference between who they faced last week and this week, like Pete Carroll, he would choke on his gum if he saw his team perform like Nick Sirianni's team did down the stretch, and he wouldn't stand for it, and he's not going to stand for it. And I think it's actually similarly built teams, right?
Yeah.
And like Seattle's just doesn't have the luxury of where they are as far as they're coming up. They're in the second year of their rebuild, and they still lack the talent on defense. Like they've sunk some talent into the defensive front a little bit, into the secondary, of course, draft capital. And the only difference is like Geno Smith and Jalen Hurts. But like as far as like 2 rock solid wide receivers, and you add Jigba as well, like that, they're good. The run game's rock solid. And they're gonna try to run it down your throat. But then on the defense,
can't rush the passer
right?
At all.
Yeah, exactly. 1 sack in their last 5 games. Let's take up my predictions because, I agree. I think that the Cardinals offense is going to continue to roll, and it's going to run through James Conner. This is a Seattle defense that's given up 23 rushing touchdowns this season. It's just as bad as the pass defense from the Eagles last year that's given up 34 touchdowns. So You're going to see a big game on the ground from the Arizona Cardinals. Like overall, the Cardinals, I think they're around, like they'll have 6 players that have rushed for 150 yards on this team. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but you have 6 guys that have gone over 150. So it's a full complement of guys run the football. But the guy that leads it is number 6. And James Conner, as you mentioned with your bet there that you're going to do through BetMGM, I mean, throw down some shekels on number 6 to finish his season strong. So he's my offensive star of the game and really expose a weakness of the Seattle Seahawks defense. And then I'm going more chalk. Jalen Thompson. I mean, these 2 guys, James Conner and Jalen Thompson today, Jonathan Gannon waxed poetic about both of them in his press conference today. And he said, Jalen Thompson is everything that you want from a modern day NFL player. Yep. His versatility, what he's done for this defense. He does take the ball away, and I think he's going to take the ball away again and hopefully add to his career high 4 picks on a season on Sunday. And then my X Factor has been the X Factor all season for the Arizona Cardinals, Matt Prater. Yeah, dump some Praterade out. Matt Prater, we didn't talk about him as much as for the snubs yesterday, but Matt Prater has had an unbelievable season, been so consistent for the Cardinals and been a weapon that when they're on like 3rd and long and they're not in like a very great spot on the field, if they can get to a certain spot, especially at State Farm Stadium, they're within Prater range, and he's been pretty rock solid, consistent as far as kicking the ball through the uprights and putting up points for this offense when they desperately needed him. Look for him to expect to do that. But I do think, like you said, with the edge as far as coaching from last week to this week, that Seattle has enough offensively where they can impose their will on the Arizona Cardinals defensively. As we mentioned, Kevin Strong's not there. Dante Stills isn't there. They are down tremendous on the defensive line. And,
I mean, who's going to start on a defensive tackle for this team Sunday?
I mean, if they activate Lecky, maybe Roy Lopez, who's been playing some nose, and then I don't know, maybe Jones. I don't know, Naquan Jones. I don't know, man. But they like to have 5, and you'd be hard pressed to name 5.
Yeah, they like to have 5. Can I interest you in 1.5, 2, maybe? Listen, a lot of nickel for the Cardinals, for better or worse. We're going to do a mock draft based on where we think the Cardinals are going to be picking come Sunday. But speaking of Sunday, if you're not on the docket coming out to Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass for our watch party, what are you doing? We have jersey giveaways out the yin-yang. I'm telling you right now, Kyler Murray, I believe do we have a James Conner available? Yeah. Fantastic. So again, good chance you come out, you got a great shot to win something. And even if you don't, I mean, they've got 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, whatever you want to do, come do it with us. I am calling it our kind of default. This is the draft party, baby. This is the pre-draft party. We're going to know by the end of the 4th quarter at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass before the postgame show where the Arizona Cardinals are picking. Experience that moment. It could be Marvin Harrison Jr. time, baby. But in the meantime, check them out. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Let them know what you're all about. Gila.com. Again, we are going to be out there pregame, halftime, postgame. Myself, the playmaker, former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver Britton Golden, Damon Dog behind the mic, producing quality content. Hopefully a ton of additional PHNX personalities. My guy, Bo Brack, Howard Balzer, they're going to be at the stadium. So if you're not going to the game, come out to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You will not be sorry that you did. The food's fantastic, tremendous nachos. The sportsbook is on point. We're going to be hanging out. Do not miss it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be fantastic. You basically show up and you're coming away with a jersey. What did we say? We're giving away 4 jerseys a quarter, and they're signed by some big time names. Have you ever heard of, is his name Larry Fitzgerald? Is that a guy?
With him, no.
Yeah. James Conner, Zaven Collins, Kyler Murray. Get your ass out there.
Those ring any bells?
Yeah. Does that sound, you know those guys?
Like those apples?
Yeah. It's fantastic. Speaking of Cardinals legends, I can't divulge too much, but there's a Cardinals legend like 20 feet from me right now.
Okay.
He's in studio. He's doing a special thing right now for PHNX that you're going to want to look out for.
Why is he on this show? Get him in here.
He's complimenting right now our brand new flooring from Empire Today.
Okay.
I'm a Cardinals legend. This is legendary flooring from our friends over at Empire Today. It's unreal what they did. It looks fantastic. If you're looking to upgrade your flooring in your condo, your home, wherever it may be, Empire Today is the best place for new flooring. Of course, they've got all those copycats out there. But Empire Today can't be beat on quality, service, and speed, convenience, quickness, easiness. That's what they're all about. And they've got their virtual floor design set up online. Check it out for yourself. And while you're doing that, when you log on to EmpireToday.com, put /PHNX, because you can start to begin the process of saving yourself $350 off and use that discount with the promo code PHNX. So go to EmpireToday.com /PHNX for more details to start the process of getting $350 off your next flooring from Empire Today.
Super chats, you guys are the best. Deuce, $5. I think it's important to keep playing Kyler Murray. I agree with that. JG even said there's no substitute for live game reps. K1 will prove himself and develop more win-win. Kyler Murray wants to build off of what they were doing last week, cooking with gas. And
Deuce is converted, right? Deuce was kind of and forgive me, but was he kind of anti-Kyler for a little bit?
I think he needed to see more, like a lot of people, and that's fair. And it's
forgive me for saying anti, but had some
skeptic. He was a skeptic
for sure.
Topic
and now to see that's great.
Yeah, $9.99, friend of the program, dear friend. Connor, K1, Dorch, McBride, Elijah Higgins, Higgy Bear, Carter Wilson. Give me 2 more receivers that produce, add 2 receivers and an OT to that pot of gumbo. We become a major problem. You're speaking my language. Maybe in our mock draft here, we can help with some of that. I think would be fantastic. But I mean, Bo, you look at that and it's like, you know what? Even though they're not established, that's a good start to what I think is going to be a revamped Cardinal offense in 2024.
Yeah, I think that this was a big part of what you wanted from this season is figure out, the Jerry Maguire, like who's coming with me, right? Who's coming with me? And, you find the Goldfish, you find Dorothy Boyd, and then the Arizona Cardinals found like, hey, we got some guys, the playmaking department, we really like our offensive line. As Topic 64 pointed out there, probably got to find a solution. And we were already kind of previewing upgrading at the tackle spot, just not understanding how this game goes. Like once you hit the age of 30, and that's what DJ Humphries was, regardless of the ACL injury, your best days are likely behind you. And, the Arizona Cardinals, what they want to draft and develop, and they want to draft premium positions in that tackle spot. Even though they took 1/6 overall, there's another position there. So, I think that absolutely an offensive tackle would be great.
Deuce, again, $2. Cardinals win 34-27. Team chemistry has gelled. You're right there with Bo and I. You just got flip the script a little bit. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a 1-possession game. Listen, I'd love to see the Cardinals come out on top, especially get a division win here in 2023, 2024. Topic 64 again. Our center is so freaking dope. Froholt is a beast. We've come a long way. Yeah. Topic 64 on Yell to Froholt. And as our guy Brian Baldinger said, Bo, we just needed an opportunity.
Just needed a chance, right? Let's show the clip though of our offensive linemen, right? We love those guys. Oh, we're gonna bring on a Cardinals legend. I thought we were trying to keep this under wraps, but we got. I don't know if you recognize this face.
Oh my goodness,
he was lighting up in the desert a long time ago.
Joining the program right now, live in studio. Jake, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you. Just over here with Craig doing some stuff, and you guys were talking cards. I had to stop in and say what's up.
What did you think of Kyler Murray's performance last week against Philadelphia?
They won the game. I think he did a great job.
There you go. What else do you have to say about that? Jake the Snake Plumber. We got some great content coming out with Jake.
You got to reach out. Let me come on the show a little bit. Drop some knowledge.
We got to get the reunion of Frank Sanders and Jake Plummer. We got to have it. That was a golden connection. Jake Plummer, exit stage left. Fantastic. Look at that. Yeah, everybody loves the Snake being here on PHNX Cardinals. I mean, I teased that we had a Cardinals legend just feet from us, and there he is. Jake MF and Plummer.
No, you love doing this show. You never know what might happen on PHNX Cardinals, the premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Love it, love it, love it. Drop a like if you love that.
Yeah, do we want to show real quick the Froholt, Will Hernandez, Paris Johnson? I saw these guys standing at the lockers today. I was like, you know what? I want to talk to the trio. Unfortunately, DJ Humphries wasn't there. He's out with the injury, but I wanted to talk to these guys, just throw them a couple fun questions and just see what their response is. Here they are. Who do you think had the biggest block of the season from you three?
That's Paris on TJ Watt.
It's probably Yelda.
Paris. I would say I've seen some plays like down the field. There's like 30 yards down the field. The only one by the ball for the O-line. He's just throwing DBs out of bounds. That's probably my favorite thing to watch.
I only get highlights of versus people that are smaller than me. That's all. That's the only thing I get.
If TJ gets Defensive Player of the Year, it's definitely part of something.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Last question, best celebration from the O-lineman this year. Who gets it?
We don't really have any like crazy. Probably Paris almost killing JC last game when you jumped over.
Paris had that little dance after JC's touchdown.
Oh, that was cool. Honestly, Paris is the only one that does cool stuff.
Yeah. Paris got it.
We're big on celebrating. He's a big solo guy. Just dancing by himself.
Doing his own shit.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
Those guys having some fun with each other. Paris Johnson, he's just a solo act, right? The rest is a cohesive unit, and they're giving him the rookie a hard time. You love to see it. I don't remember the TJ Watt block. Do you? Is it where he tag teamed him with DJ Humphries?
I just know TJ was pretty uneventful that game.
Yeah.
And Paris had a great game, and he's been playing well the last month of the season. Froholt, especially, he's had a great 5-week stretch. Somebody pointed it out on Twitter via PFF. That's the holy trinity right there for 2024. Like I'm being, a little bit disingenuous, but in all seriousness, like if you're fired up about the Cardinals, you should be fired up about those three players. They're all under contract. First of all, nobody's making any money. Paris Johnson Jr. is on his rookie deal. Those Yelda Froholt, Will Hernandez were nice signings that offseason, 2-year contracts. That's what you build around. And wouldn't Joe Alt with that group, that trio, just look great? You got Joe Alt bookending the other side, and they're all just 4 peas in a pod. And yeah, that's great stuff. Had I been there, I would have gotten emotional, JG style, talking to those three guys.
You would have just tried to put your arm around them, or like,
yeah, I would have just not arm around. I would have asked to be carried around the locker room.
You'd be like, you're Alan from The Hangover. Like, we are the 4 best friends. Anyone can. Yeah. I mean, how many, and this is not like a size joke, but how many Johnny Venerables can we fit in one Will Hernandez? 4? He's so wide.
Yeah, probably. If I scrunched up, you could probably get 4 of me in a Will Hernandez. But he's like the sweetest dude, one of the nicest people. And that's great stuff. Jake Plummer, I'm still not over Jake the Snake making a pop in. Little mock draft action. What do you think?
Absolutely. Do you want to tell people how they can get to the Cardinals game though for a pretty decent price for the finale?
Well, I could, but I don't want to save people too much money. Or what am I talking about? Of course I do. You want to make some smart decisions this weekend. Well, first of all, the smartest move you can do right now, using Game Time, $20 off your first purchase with bonus code PHNX. You're going to get hooked up. I think you can get in the building. This is live podcasting at its finest. I'm pulling up the Game Time app as we speak. Lightning deals upon lightning deals. You can get in the building, Arizona Cardinals, for $25. We're going to get you $20 off of that if this is the first time you're using that app. How about row 9, under $400? You want to basically be able to touch the players. It's going to cost you a fraction of what it normally would be. PHNX is the bonus code, $20 off. And again, if you're like, you know what, I actually rather go to the Suns game, works for that too. Works for concerts, events, works for parking passes. Whatever you want to do it last minute with our friends at Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Guaranteed, and also guaranteed mostly on every corner here on your Valley streets is a Circle K. If you're going to get to the stadium or you're leaving the stadium on Sunday, best spot to go load up on some delicious snacks is Circle K. It's America's thirst shop, and you got to join their new free membership program. And also, while you're doing it, you can save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every day, and every 6, you get a selection of free Circle K products, from pizza, the coffee, the Polar Pops. Don't miss out. You get the free 31 days of Circle K in the Inner Circle app. Join the Inner Circle by downloading the Circle K app today for free. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
He did steal my shtick. I love Circle K. I love being a member of the Inner Circle. I will allow Bo to join the Inner Circle, albeit temporarily. I want to talk about these super chats real quick. My guy Merv busted a move, as always, $9.99. The Cardinals have signed former cornerback, converted defensive lineman Merv bust a knee, and defensive end Johnny Venerable to their practice squad, per sources at PHNX Sports. I think Howard Balzer just broke that news. Expected to be elevated on Sunday. I think Merv and I might have to play in this game. Like, you might see Bo at the game, doing his reporter thing, and you're going to see me on the field being carted off.
I mean, I don't know about Merv up front. Well, I guess he's defensive line, and then Johnny's he's a 3-4 DE. Is that what you are?
I think I'll put my hand in the ground, but I'm also athletic enough to do a drop back on like a tight end. You know, who's the tight end for the Seahawks that they got in the trade for the Broncos? Yeah. I'll be backpedaling. I'll stay step for step with Noah Fant.
You're just gonna get it. Watching Johnny getting erased every play would be any price I'd pay on Game Time. Just watch him just go out there, get in his stance, and then just get absolutely obliterated.
Key matchup: Johnny Venerable versus Charles Cross.
The key matchup would last one play.
It would look like the scene from The Blind Side where he blocks a guy into the stands.
Yeah. Listen, that might be what they're going for this weekend with that defensive line group. Wrenches and Rants, $1.99. The Snake, the other great QB drafted, very appropriate. Yeah. Kyler Murray, Jake Plummer, that's the hierarchy of drafted franchise quarterbacks for this franchise. Illa Dre, $1.99. Jake Plummer, the reason I became a Cardinals fan. I think for a lot of people that
was the turning of the tide, man. That was, it was obviously it took a decade too long for them to make some noise moving to the desert, but that was the team. And man, it was so fun that when we had Frank Sanders on the show on a regular basis, and he would just take us back to that time. It was just fantastic to just the how he energized. He brought just that energy, the play style that just fit that organization, that craved it. And once he hit the field, the rest was history, and they made their way to the playoffs, and they beat the Dallas Cowboys in a playoff game, which is just fantastic. Can't write it up better than that.
Somebody's saying it would be like the show Jackass if Johnny played in the NFL. Absolutely. Johnny Knoxville, Johnny Venerable.
Hi, I'm Johnny Venerable. I'm playing defensive end for the Arizona Cardinals today. Welcome to Jackass.
All right. We're going to be jackasses here with our friends at PFF, the PFF Mock Draft Simulator. Certainly not the last time we're going to do this, but the last time during the regular season, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to be at PFF, and you guys let me know, Bo Brack, if you can see my screen.
There it is.
And hey, surprise, surprise. The Cardinals are picking third. The Patriots have upset the Jets. The Cardinals have lost a close matchup. Washington, of course, loses. The Cardinals are picking third overall. We are starting this mock draft. Caleb Williams, Drake May go 1-2.
Oh.
How do you do?
How are the turntables? Pretty fantastic. I think that this is probably like the easiest scenario. As tantalizing as a trade down would be, do you risk it? I mean, I know the Patriots are QB hungry, but I think you take arguably the best player prospect in this draft. And, we were crying about it a little bit last week that they might have gotten out of range for Marvin Harrison Jr., but if you put yourself right back in a primo position for it, the Bears do the right thing and take Caleb Williams. Marvin Harrison is ripe for the plucking right there. You take him.
I think so, too. Now, this is interesting. The Giants, I mean, like, how much could you just destroy the Giants here? Well,
you're
not having that. So we're not, like we've already talked about. The Cardinals did their trade back last year. And while I'm open to that again for future ones, it can't be in spite of taking Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's what we're going to do. And it's already an A+ draft for me. Everything else is house money. In this scenario, Houston will have missed the playoffs narrowly. The Cardinals are picking 17. And I think another easy decision, Bo Brack.
Yeah. You like Cooper DeJean?
I do. I like it. The White Lightning, he declared today for the cause, as a lot of people on Twitter have
I mean, Jared Verse, that Florida State defense that was chirping after watching the college football playoff, but despite Florida State with their just crushed roster in defense and guys who had opted out, Jared Verse, I think, is the guy. Latu from UCLA is an interesting prospect. When you say it's an easy decision, did you mean Verse or who are you looking at?
I said I meant pass rusher regardless. I actually lean on Latu in this situation. I like the guy who's a little bit bigger. He's 6'5" as compared to Verse, who's I think an inch or two shorter. He's got more production, and I think he's just a better fit. I think if the Cardinals are going to run more of a traditional 4-3 next year, Jared Verse, he's still a really good fit, but he's a little bit smaller. I like Latu in this situation. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not going to dig in, but I mean, the edge is the premium position. Like I said, 1 sack, and it was kind of a token sack that wasn't even a real one against Justin Fields and the Bears. So in the last 5 games, really no sacks from this pass rush. So you got to upgrade that spot. If you get a guy with a great skill set, let's do it. So if you want to take Latu, that's up to you.
And look at this average draft position 10 compared to 14. And again, it's just kind of where the chips fall. I think Latu's a better prospect.
Right.
Could change over the course of the offseason with new information. We get to pick 35. Is this where you pull the trigger on an offensive tackle, especially when you figure what's happened to DJ Humphries, Bo?
Yeah, I think probably. I mean, especially when you look at how this board is kind of the draft dominoes have fallen. You do consider a corner because that's still a massive need. But when you look at I don't know, maybe the tackle class in its depth gives you the luxury of taking the top corner off the board here and maybe holding out for a tackle. What do you think?
I think this is a position that they like the young players that they have. They're certainly not settled at it. Garrett Williams is going to miss the finale. Keitrell Clark, Starling Thomas, you would assume they're going to be in the fold this offseason. I think they're going to sign 1 to 2 veteran corners. And while I think it's a priority to add one if one falls to you, I think this situation with DJ Humphries has made the situation at tackle now dire, where one of your first 3 picks needs to be a tackle. Because as much as I like the depth, I don't think it's fair to ask a 3rd round pick to come in and play left or right tackle, whereas you've got a couple quality options now. And I think it starts with this young man. I know a lot of people talk about a guard, and maybe that's his future eventually, but I look at 6'4", 315. You can play right tackle in the NFL at that size, Bo.
For sure. And I think he's going to be at the Senior Bowl. Arizona Cardinals should get a good look at him down in Mobile. And yeah, I have no problem with this pick.
Just makes sense. We're going chalk, edge rusher, wide receiver, tackle. Those are maybe 3 of their biggest needs on the team suddenly.
They
and
used
now
3 of their 4 first picks last draft at those positions, and it's fine.
Yeah, and now you can really talk about, okay, is there some quality depth or some quality value that's fallen to you? I'm looking at this and I'm saying, you know what? I mean, do you just go chalk again and go back to the well at edge rusher, Bo?
Who do we like? The kid out of Isaac out of Penn State. Jonathan Brooks, running back out of Texas, is an intriguing prospect. He did officially declare the other day after speculation that he could go back. He's coming off a knee injury. Like with James Conner in-house, could you draft his successor? But it's pretty early to do that. I love Brooks, and I think that there's a time and place to do it. This is just a little earlier because you have more pressing needs. Seeing the kid from Yale, the tackle from Yale still on the board, that's what I was thinking with this tackle class, that you might be able to pass on it. And we're still looking to address the needs up front defensively. Still need to add some beef, but is there a prospect worthy of that right now that's on the board? And I don't think there is. So, yeah, do you maybe go back to Isaac because you still need the edge rusher?
This reminds me of Shane Ray and Marcus Golden once upon a time, separated by a round. Missouri
talking about
prospects.
Chop Robinson and Isaac?
Yeah. And this is a guy, if you study his tape, I mean, he's a redshirt senior. He's an older player. And a lot of people would say he's probably maxed out his athletic ability. That's okay. You can afford to take a player like this in the 3rd round. He had 9 sacks in the Big Ten, had some really good games against quality opponents. The Illini are a well-coached team, big boy team. I think that situation has become so dire. You don't know what the future is with guys like Dennis Gardeck and Zaven Collins. I have no issue, especially when you consider, like, you're picking 71 here in 3 picks. So I think Isaac's the play.
All right.
And you could have an option here. I think you've taken your medicine. And while cornerback and defensive line remain an issue, I think this is, with Jonathan Brooks available, I think this is going to Monty Osford and saying, this is your Derrick Henry, going to Drew Petzing and saying, this is your Nick Chubb. I think Jonathan Brooks at 71 is right where the Cardinals need to be living. I know it's not their most pressing need, but you told me yesterday, we're still rebuilding. This is a pick for the rebuild. This is a pick that says we have now 3 capable backs. If you include Michael Carter and, of course, James Conner, we are flipping loaded at that position. And I will go to my grave saying that Kyler Murray, while a franchise quarterback, needs a bell cow big running back, because once James Conner is gone, when you're in the red zone, 6 foot 210, we need that. We need that to carry over beyond James Conner, Bo.
You're getting ratioed in the chat. Let's look at some defensive linemen. Let's just look at some defensive linemen.
Wow.
Please bring up the
no one's
position
even ever entertaining it. No one's even entertaining. Okay, fine. I will let the chat. Byron Murphy, is that what you want? Is that who you want me to select?
Did Chris Jenkins go way earlier? I would assume so out of Michigan, right?
I can find it while people continue. To
No, it's okay.
Here.
But I think
61 to the Dolphins. That's not a disaster.
Man, this is tough. I mean, you got the kid out of Clemson, and you got Byron Murphy the second, and I don't think I get.
I like my toys, man. I want some fun in the sun. With I mean, Jonathan Brooks in like a half t-shirt running around.
I think you got to go with the kid out of Clemson. You just have to, or Byron Murphy the second.
Byron Murphy the second. I think we're gonna get to the combine and pro days, and he's gonna elevate to a top 2-round pick. I think he's gonna be a top 50 prospect. So I'm with you.
So what
we'll
go
Byron
here?
Murphy here.
Yeah. Right? You took the right kid out of UT. Good job.
Nah, how dare you? Any interest now, looking at these options here, would you be tempted, even with Marvin Harrison Jr., to go back to the receiver well with McMillan falling to you? Exceptional college prospect, gets overshadowed by our guy, Roma Dunzibo.
Yeah, I mean, Roma Dunzi overshadows 2 other wide receivers in Washington. Has the best wide receivers in the country. But I like the Brooks thing. I still think you got to continue to eat some vegetables here. Maybe even go back to the well as far as some beef, some defensive help up front, or maybe take the top guard in this draft and Christian Haynes, because we've been encouraged by Elijah Wilkinson, but don't you want maybe the future of that position, somebody to draft for McKinley Jackson too, out of Texas A&M, a decent defensive lineman as well.
For the sake of some adversity, and we've gone with Christian Haynes.
Diversity or adversity?
Diversity in terms of our picks.
Yeah.
We've taken Christian Haynes a good amount. I'm going to say let's go away from that for the sake of this mock draft. Zach Frazier's a really nice prospect. I think he just recently declared, gave up no sacks this year. Obviously, as you can see, smaller conference. Is he too comparable to what you had in John Gaines last year? Obviously, you mentioned the kid, Mahoney, out of Boston College.
No, I was saying Haynes out of UConn.
Oh, my fault. Haynes out of UConn. Okay. Well, you may. This is our last pick. This is pick 81. I'm going to defer it to my co-host here because I can't see the chat. Who do the people want for the last pick in the top 100 for the Arizona Cardinals in 2024?
Michael saying another DT wouldn't be back. Deuce saying Haynes, all caps. Josh is saying, Bo, give Johnny's mouse a curfew. Brent's saying Haynes. Kenny's saying Haynes. Mike's saying Williams out of Ohio State. Josh is saying Haynes is the easy choice. We're seeing a lot of Haynes in there.
How many people in this chat? And I'm not trying to be an asshole. How many people in this chat watched Christian Haynes watch UConn football this year? I have not watched a second of it. So I'm leaning on everybody. He's a 3-year starter. He's played over 2,400 snaps. That's great. But I would be lying if I told you I watched a bunch of UConn football every Saturday afternoon.
You're a man of the people. Listen,
I am
to
a man of the people. And that's why I'm taking Blake Corum 91st, and I'm going to draft him. He's too
I don't
small.
hate it. I don't hate that.
You think he's okay with Kyler Murray?
Blake Corum? I think he's okay with really anybody. Like I was skeptical as well, but watching how physical he can play, he can play a little bit bigger than 5'8", but let's go with Haynes. Let's go with
we're going Blake Corum. I'm overriding you. We're making Blake Corum an Arizona Cardinal.
You're unbelievable.
In a shocking scenario, Monty Ossenford's going Blake Corum with pick 81. Yes, he is.
Unbelievable.
Johnny just declared martial law.
The Arizona Cardinals have an A draft despite Blake Corum C- grade.
You're C-.
Listen,
I don't love
grades
this
are great.
draft, but
You don't love this draft?
no. Maybe mostly because you
what's your
just were shooting
most
from the hip.
disappointing pick?
All the ones you made.
All right. I don't like where this show is
You
headed.
you went with what you wanted all the way up until I took the defensive lineman. You're like, oh, Jared Verse or Latu out of UCLA. Well, there Johnny's hitting Latu there. And then you take Blake
People are
Corum.
calling me Steve Keim 2.0, and you
never go full time.
Blake Corum, Arizona Cardinal. Hey, wouldn't it be fun as hell? Blake Corum and Marvin Harrison Jr. at the same training camp. You'd be into that. Don't tell me you wouldn't be into that.
Wasn't it like draft days under Steve Keim? They did have a certain. They were fun for a little bit, and then you realized that it was empty calories. Like the fun ended quickly once you realized these guys couldn't play.
Cotton candy and
I loved watching Hakeem Butler make big plays for Iowa State. Oh, he can't catch at the NFL level? That sucks. Well, the fun's gone now. Yeah.
I tried to take Jonathan Brooks earlier, and everybody told me not to. So now you get Blake Corum. Topic 64 at $9.99. That Chicago Bears situation is crazy. I just don't know what they're thinking. And the crazy fans are chanting Justin's name, trying to convince the Chicago management. We are all unequivocally.
They need Johnny in upper management there, where he won't listen to what everybody else is saying. He just wants what he wants.
Wow. How dare you?
Everybody in the chat, take Canes, take Canes, take Canes. And Johnny's like, you get Blake Corum.
The O-line's in good shape. As far as the Chicago Bears, topic 64, we're all Green Bay Packer fans. Not only are we Green Bay Packer fans, we are rooting for the Chicago Bears to be humiliated this weekend. Yeah. We are rooting for a 3-interception game from Justin Fields, wetting the bed, Matt LaFleur taking a dump all over Chicago this weekend. That's what we want. We want Eberflus to be Eberfraud again. Matt LaFleur, if you think Matt LaFleur is going to lose to Matt Eberflus to go to the playoffs in Lambeau at Green Bay, you are outside your mind. This is a pack all-day game. After the Packers last year lost an opportunity to go to the playoffs, losing to an up-and-coming Lions team, you think they're going to let a division rival back-to-back years play spoiler to their postseason berth? Hell no. Hell no. I cannot wait. Come Sunday afternoon, the Arizona Cardinals picking 3rd overall and the Chicago Bears unequivocally taking Caleb Williams, print up the number 18 jerseys. I'm back, baby.
All right. I like it. We're back Sunday. Absolutely. We're going to be live from the Gila River Resort and Casino, Wild Horse Pass. Join Johnny Venerable and, of course, Britton Golden, and just a huge stack of signed Cardinal jerseys that you can win. We're giving away 4 a quarter. Join us. You show up, you're likely walking away with some signed merch. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Just don't. It's the regular season finale. We're putting a bow on this season. We're so thankful for everybody out there. Join us at Gila River. Make sure to sign up. Become a diehard today. Go PHNX.com. Read the work of Howard Balzer. And, of course, check out the merch locker, PHNXlocker.com.
Got to be 21 years and older to partake at Gila River Resorts and Casinos this weekend. Check us out. Go PHNX.com. Become a diehard. The diehard Discord, PHNX Cardinals, is off the chain. We got some special surprises coming up. In the meantime, he's Bo Brock, Damon Dog behind the mic. Like this video. Get this to 300 ahead of the season finale. Seattle at Arizona. We're going to be breaking it all down. I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you at game day.
We all silly like the mayor.